After years of silence, absence, and mystery, the bold and the beautiful unleashes a seismic shift that threatens to rip apart the very foundation of the Forrester family. In a week that rewrites history and redefines loyalty, Quinn Fuller returns to Los Angeles, not as a reformed woman, not as a grieving exile, but as a storm armed with secrets, strategies, and a long-planned agenda for vengeance. And she's not coming alone. From the moment Quinn steps back into the Forrester world, the atmosphere changes. The quiet hum of fashion meetings and boardroom politics is shattered by whispers of her return. No one knows where she's been. No one knows why she's back. But her silence over the years speaks volumes, and her reappearance comes with a fury no one could have predicted. Quinn isn't back for apologies. She's back for retribution. She begins moving quietly, almost invisibly at first. Old accounts. Shadow transactions. A hidden network of contacts cultivated during her exile. One by one, she begins pulling strings, subtle sabotage here, discreet leaks to the press there. Untraceable financial hits target Forrester vendors. A secret investor blocks a major international distribution deal, and all of it leads back to Quinn. But the most devastating blow isn't financial. It's personal. In a private confrontation at the Forrester mansion, Quinn drops a bomb so shocking it sends Eric into stunned silence and threatens to collapse his marriage to Donna Logan in a single moment. Quinn reveals that Daphne Rose, yes, that Daphne, the mysterious, ambitious designer who recently laid claim to being Eric's daughter and was later tragically murdered, is, in fact, her daughter as well. The confession is nothing short of nuclear. Quinn explains, with chilling precision, the truth she's buried for decades. During her affair with Eric years ago, she became pregnant. But at the time, Eric was tangled in another marriage and Quinn feared the consequences. More importantly, she wasn't entirely sure if the child was his. With no concrete answers and haunted by uncertainty, she fled to Paris and gave birth alone. She raised the child, Daphne, under the radar, telling no one, not even Wyatt. The shame, the secrecy, and the overwhelming fear led her to cut ties from everyone. Years passed. Quinn allowed Daphne to forge her own identity in the fashion world, keeping her lineage concealed. But when Daphne started working at Forrester Creations, Quinn couldn't ignore the irony. Something inside her stirred. She secretly commissioned a DNA test between Eric and Daphne, and when the results came back, the truth exploded in front of her. Daphne was Eric's daughter. Now, with Daphne's murder still fresh and unanswered, Quinn brings the test results to Eric. Not as a gesture of peace. As a challenge. As a declaration. As a weapon. Donna is present during the confrontation, and her world shatters in seconds. The woman she once banished from Eric's life has returned not only with vengeance, but with blood ties. With proof. With a claim that not only shakes the Forrester family tree, but also poisons every romantic memory Donna shared with Eric. Eric, shaken to the core, stumbles backward. All the years. All the lies. The loss of Daphne, a daughter he barely had the chance to know, suddenly transforms into something heavier. Regret, grief, and guilt wrapped in betrayal. Donna demands answers. But Eric is silent. Quinn doesn't flinch. She looks Donna in the eye and delivers the fatal blow. You were never part of this legacy. You just kept the bed warm while I buried our daughter. That line alone becomes the moment everything changes. Donna walks out. Back at the Forrester estate, the family scrambles to react. Ridge, already grappling with the fallout from Daphne's rise and murder, refuses to believe it. Steffi accuses Quinn of manufacturing the story for control. Thomas, reeling from the fact that Daphne may have left him the company in her will, starts wondering if the entire thing has been a long con orchestrated by a mother-daughter duo bent on revenge. But the DNA tests are irrefutable. Quinn is Daphne's mother. Eric is the father. Daphne was a legitimate heir. And now she's dead. With the truth out, the narrative shifts. Quinn, once seen as a manipulative outsider, now positions herself as the grieving mother of a fallen Forrester. She calls a press conference, sharing her daughter's story with the world, framing Daphne as a visionary crushed by the family's greed and arrogance. The public responds. Sympathy surges. Investors begin calling Quinn. Former clients of Forrester Creations reach out to her directly. Behind the scenes, Quinn begins assembling a new team. She revives her jewelry brand, but with a twist, adding a fashion division titled Rose by Quinn, dedicated to the memory of Daphne. It's bold, emotional, ruthless, and it works. Suddenly, the Forresters are no longer just mourning a murder. They're fighting for their legacy against a woman who has every reason to take it from them. Eric, still spiraling, refuses to speak to Donna. He withdraws from public appearances. Rumors of a possible reconciliation between him and Quinn begin to swirl, fueled by a single photo of the two spotted at Daphne's gravesite. Brooke confronts Donna and warns her, Quinn plays the long game. You're just now realizing you were her pawn. Meanwhile, Rich pushes to reassert control at Forrester Creations. He wants to dissolve any remaining claim Quinn may have to Daphne's stake. But Carter warns him legally, there's no way around it. As Daphne's sole parent, Quinn has legal rights to her holdings, including stock and board representation. In one stroke, Quinn becomes the most powerful individual tied to Forrester Creations, financially, emotionally, and legally. But it doesn't stop there. Quinn reopens the investigation into Daphne's murder. She hires her own team of private investigators. She begins exposing details the LAPD missed. She names names. She suspects internal sabotage. She even publicly suggests that Steffi and Ridge had motive to protect their empire from a rising rival. She vows justice. And beneath that vow is something colder, sharper, revenge. Quinn tells Ridge, face to face, you let my daughter bleed on your carpet. Now I'm going to take everything you've ever loved and watch it rot. The war is now official. Donna, now living with Katie, begins reevaluating everything. She wants to fight for Eric. But he won't return her calls. Quinn continues to manipulate every media opportunity. Interviews, press pieces, magazine spreads painting her as the mother of a fallen genius. She even launches a limited fragrance line based on Daphne's final designs. It sells out in hours. Meanwhile, the murder investigation reveals shocking twists. A new suspect emerges, Send, who had been quietly dating Daphne in secret and may have felt betrayed by her plans to restructure the company without him. Surveillance footage places him near the scene of the murder the night she died. And then, a bigger twist, Daphne's missing laptop is found, with an encrypted folder titled Q Plan. What was Q Plan? Was it a joint takeover blueprint with Quinn? Was Daphne planning to push even her mother out in the end? Did Quinn kill her own daughter when plans diverged? The file is locked. The questions deepen. Nothing is certain. Nothing is sacred. As the storm builds, Forrester Creations sits on the edge of collapse, not from outside competition, but from the relentless implosion ignited by bloodlines, lies, and one woman's decision to return with the truth she kept hidden for far too long. And now the Forrester family must ask, can you truly bury the past when it comes back with your face? Quinn is back. Daphne was hers. And the war has only begun. The war for Forrester Creations had already reached a fever pitch, but nothing could prepare the family for what came next. In the midst of a firestorm fueled by bloodlines, betrayal, and corporate chaos, the unthinkable happened. Eric Forrester died. The patriarch, the legend, the architect of the Forrester empire collapsed in the same home where decades of triumph and heartbreak had unfolded. His death wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. It was the cruel, quiet ending of a man who had lost his grip on his family, his company, and his own peace. It started with chest pain. He had ignored it for days. The pressure, the breathlessness, Eric brushed it off as stress. But the stress was relentless. The revelation of Daphne as his daughter. The exposure of Quinn's past. Donna walking out. The company slipping through his fingers. The growing suspicion that one of his own children, or at least someone within his inner circle, was responsible for Daphne's death. It all mounted into a crushing weight, and Eric, once the unshakable foundation of the Forrester name, finally cracked. He collapsed during a board meeting. Ridge was mid-sentence, locked in another argument with Quinn about voting rights, when Eric suddenly clutched his chest, gasped, and fell to the floor. Chaos erupted. Steffi screamed. Carter rushed to his side. Thomas froze. Quinn didn't blink. She leapt across the room, cradling Eric's head, whispering frantically, "Don't leave." Not yet. Not like this. But it was too late. The paramedics did everything they could. The hospital did everything they could. But Eric Forrester, the heart of the bold and the beautiful, was gone. He died that night, surrounded by fractured pieces of the family he built. And just like that, the true fight began. In his will, Eric made no amendments. The last legal document he signed still recognized Daphne Forrester as his rightful heir, and by default, her holdings and inheritance passed directly to Quinn Fuller, her mother and next of kin. The shock was immediate. The fallout seismic. Quinn now owned a controlling stake in Forrester Creations. In a single stroke of fate, the woman once cast out of the family now was the family. She called a board meeting within 48 hours of Eric's passing. Executives were reassigned. Allies of Ridge and Steffi were pushed to the margins. Contracts were frozen. Product lines were shelved. Hope's return to runway capsule was postponed indefinitely. Zen's next show was canceled. The Forrester mansion remained closed to visitors. Quinn took it all. She did not ask for permission. She declared, "I am here because my daughter should have been. You pushed her out. You pushed me out. Now I'm taking back what's mine. And she will have what was stolen." Then came the twist no one saw coming. Daphne wasn't gone. In a development so explosive it rewrote everything, investigators revealed a critical error. The body found in Daphne's office had been misidentified. The woman, murdered, mutilated, and burned, was wearing Daphne's clothes and had used her security badge. But she wasn't Daphne. Forensic confirmation took time. But when the results came in, it was undeniable. Daphne Forrester was alive. She had staged her death. Why? To see what the Forresters would do when she wasn't around to stop them. To force the truth into the light. To push her mother into power. To uncover her enemies and expose a family too addicted to power to see beyond their name. Daphne returned during Eric's memorial, stepping onto the terrace mid-eulogy, wearing black and a cold, composed expression. The crowd gasped. Steffi dropped her glass. Thomas staggered backward. Ridge's jaw locked. Quinn smiled. Daphne said only this. "You buried a body, but it wasn't mine. You tried to bury me long before that. But I'm not going anywhere. This company is mine. This legacy is mine. And now I decide what Forrester becomes." From that day forward, Daphne Forrester was the new chairwoman of Forrester Creations. She took control without apology. Her first act? A full-scale audit of the company's past 5 years. Every transaction. Every personal payout. Every deal cut behind closed doors. She made it clear. Transparency or exile. Steffi pushed back and threatened to leave. Daphne let her go. Ridge called a vote of no confidence. It failed. Thomas tried to leverage personal information. Daphne beat him to it, exposing private emails that implicated him in the original scheme to undermine her when she arrived. Hope tried to find common ground. Daphne listened, but did not forget that Hope once supported the idea of her removal. Carter, cornered by both loyalty and law, became Daphne's closest advisor. She promoted him to chief operating officer and gave him power he never imagined he'd wield. Quinn focused on expanding Daphne's vision: international markets, signature fragrances, a tribute line to Eric Legacy by Forrester. It became the company's top seller in less than a month. Under Daphne's rule, Forrester Creations transformed. More corporate, more powerful, more ruthless. No longer a family business. It became a global empire, ruled by one woman's command and her mother's protective shadow. But beneath Daphne's composed surface burned something colder, more dangerous than ambition, revenge. She still wanted to know who had tried to kill her. Who had staged her murder, using an innocent woman as bait? And who in the family knew, or worse, helped? The investigation resumed. Tensions thickened. Surveillance footage, previously dismissed, was reanalyzed. A single clue. A flash of a designer bracelet in the reflection of the office door put suspicion on someone no one expected: Donna Logan. The bracelet had been a gift from Eric. Custom, one of a kind. And she had motive: jealousy, fear of losing Eric to Quinn, fury at Daphne's rise, a desperate need to cling to her place in the family. When confronted, Donna broke down. She didn't kill Daphne, but she had followed her. She had found the decoy. And in a desperate moment, she had tried to scare Daphne into leaving town. It went wrong. The wrong woman died, and Donna fled the scene. She was arrested. The press devoured the scandal. The Forresters fractured further. But Daphne? She stood stronger. Eric's death had cleared the old order. Quinn's return had lit the fire. And Daphne Forrester's rise had rewritten everything. She didn't just survive. She conquered. And now, with her enemies falling, her father buried, and her empire fully hers, Daphne turns to the future. And in the bold and the beautiful, the future has a new face, a new voice, and one undeniable truth: the era of Eric Forrester is over. The reign of Daphne Forrester has begun.